Hey everyone, welcome back to Love Life Support.
How's it going?
Welcome back to our podcast where we do Am I the Asshole stories, but we also do other things. But right now, we are going to do Am I the Asshole
What is
stories.
the theme today, Patty?
Oh, also, if you don't know us,
Mm.
I am Patty. This is John Paul. We are a married couple and we give our advice on these stories.
Yeah.
Today, the theme is That's Not Gonna Fly in Court.
Good luck, buddy.
So, the first story is what made this theme happen.
Okay.
So,
I'm
it's very
excited.
exciting.
I'm excited.
This one's a good one. Am I the asshole for digging in my heels about sex in a prenup? I honestly can't believe I'm asking this, but my boyfriend has gotten so mad that I'm feeling a little crazy now. Both 34. He had a terrible marriage before me that ended in a dead bedroom, and he's determined to never go back to that life again. Understood. I think that sucked for him to experience. So now he wants a prenup, and literally write in the prenup that we will have sex X amount of times a week, or else I get absolutely nothing in the divorce. I had already agreed to a 50-50 prenup of marital assets, and we keep what we came into the marriage with. Now that's not enough for him. He wants me to prove that I won't stop having sex with him in the future. I tell him I can't prove the future, and putting something in writing doesn't prove that. Now he says I must have a guilty conscience if I won't sign these terms, because if I'm so certain it won't happen, then what's the problem? But to me, it makes me feel like a sex slave and not a loved wife or partner. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, definitely is unhinged to put in the prenup. I don't like that.
That is so unhinged. So this is what started the theme because I thought to myself, that would not fly in court.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, how, like, if you get divorced and you claim that she didn't have sex with you or something, or didn't have sex that amount of times per week, how would you prove that? So I was like, this would not fly in court. And also, I don't think you could put something like this in a prenup.
Yeah.
Like even if he could somehow prove it, I still don't think it would um, fly in court because of what she said. Like it's making her like a sex slave. You
Yeah,
know?
this is like inhumane. It's also completely unprovable. I think that like sex is really important in a marriage, and I I guess he just wants to make sure it doesn't happen because he had this previous experience. But like, this is not the way to do it.
Also, like I understand that a lot of things can happen, but like also what did he do to make it also a dead bedroom in his previous marriage? Like it goes both ways.
Yeah.
So like did he stop doing things for her to make her want to do that with him? Like there's a lot that goes into that and it could have been his fault, or at least partially his fault in the first marriage. So it's like this could just be a red flag for her. Like, it's also like she said my boyfriend, so it's like, are you guys even engaged? And then it's like
Mm,
you guys are 50-50 and then you take whatever you came with into the marriage. So, but if you don't have sex with him enough, then he gets everything or something? Or he gets 100%? That's insane. It's also, that's so disrespectful to your wife or your soon to be wife to be like, yeah, because you missed 1 week because your ankle got broken. Or like, what about when she's on her period? Or like, literally so many like ways that you would just not have sex 1 week, or if she's gone, or her like parent dies and she doesn't want to have sex, or like
Right?
There's so many ways that people don't want to have sex. Like, dude, what is wrong with you? Also, what if you don't want to have sex? Does it just say that she has to have sex with you a certain
Right,
amount of
right,
times?
right.
Or do you have to have sex with her? What if you break that? Does she get everything?
I don't know. I
What?
just don't agree with prenups in the first place because the marriage is built on trust. If you don't have trust, you don't really have a marriage.
The only thing that kind of changed my mind about that, but we're already married anyways, but is because people are like, oh, if you don't make one, then you just do the one that the government gives you, basically,
Mm.
and you're leaving it up to the government. Um, so I feel like for like certain people, it makes sense that are like, not religious, I guess. It makes more sense. But even if you are, like, you never know if someone's going to cheat on you and then you get divorced. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I
But
kind of know.
it, I mean,
I think we agree to each other that it's
I
not going to
think that, like,
happen. So.
I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know if people, like, just know that they're going to end up cheating before they get married.
I
But,
don't.
like,
Yeah, I hate that. If that's true, I hate that.
like, I don't know how that works. I mean, I think there are certain people that are like that, but then they are probably the ones that want to do the prenup because I get both sides of the argument. But I will say the idea of leaving it up to the government makes me more inclined to be like, okay, I understand doing a prenup. Because it's
Yeah, but
like,
what's the
why would
what
you
does it
want to
say?
like leave it to the government?
Yeah.
But like I think it should be equal. Even like taking everything that you came into the marriage with, like let's say the husband had the house before you got married, and then it's like, oh, well, we're obviously going to live together. Let's stay in this house together. And then it's like when you get divorced, or if you get divorced, he gets to take it, and then you're just left like high and dry. Like, and then, like, what if you guys made improvements on the house? Like, I feel like there are so many things that it's like, I don't know. It's just so weird. Like, I feel like you should just make it equal
Yeah.
because and then unless it's like the wife stayed home and took care of your children, and it's like I feel like that also is a job, and then you need to like like all that stuff. But anyways, this is not what the conversation's
Yeah,
about.
but
I
I
think the
don't know.
conversation is you should dump this guy and not get
Yeah.
married to him because that's an insane expectation to put on somebody. And honestly, that would make me not want to have sex with him.
The whole thing where he didn't have any sex in his last marriage, again, it can go both ways. So it's like,
So it seems like this person has written it to Reddit before.
oh, okay.
And so someone commented and said, OP, your other post, you guys broke up 49 days ago over this stance on sex and giving you silent treatments, and now you're here with him as your fiance and the same issue but greater. Break up with him and make it stick this time.
Mm.
So I do have the other post,
Oh my
like
gosh.
screenshot it, but it doesn't really like
Mm.
go along with this theme, so I was not sure if I should read it or not.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
I mean,
I kind of want to
it's
hear
just
it.
more like backstory of like
Mm.
it's not like I don't think it was Am I the asshole, but yeah, somebody said, ask him what happens if one of you falls sick. If he pulls his back, does he really want you jumping on him, screaming, "Put it inside me! I can't afford to fail the prenup." Yeah, and then also what qualifies as sex? Like, there's like other ways you
We
can
all
do
know.
things. So it's like, I don't know, it's just so weird.
Yeah, it's not appropriate.
But yeah, the other one was not safe for work.
Oh, gotcha. Wow, this is like so many red flags going on right now.
I kind of want to read it, but I also, like,
It's messy.
I guess I should, I guess we can read it. Has anyone who wants a submissive woman ever found happiness with one that isn't? So my 34 female boyfriend, 34 male, has a history with a previous marriage where he was sexually neglected to the point it's a genuine trauma now. Since then, he's pursued submissive women and almost exclusively open relationships or friends with benefits, so he feels in control of getting sex. If one woman isn't in the mood or available, he had others he could reach out to. When we met, I made it clear I only date in monogamous relationships. He pursued me and ended things with everyone else because he found an emotional connection with me he didn't have with his friends with benefits. I have asked him if he can be happy with me when I'm not a submissive woman. I have a career, whereas the woman he dated and his previous wife didn't work. He provided everything. I make significantly more money than him, which he has mentioned several times bothers him. Yet when I ask if he can truly be happy with me, he tells me it's nice to not have the weight of having to provide solely on his shoulders. It's nice to have a woman that's so intelligent, someone with drive and ambition, and that he absolutely fell in love with how I put myself through graduate school and have accomplished everything on my own. Yet we have arguments all the time if I ever say anything that isn't 100% praising him. On Monday, I told him I wanted salad for dinner. He made soup full of carbs, and I praised him for how delicious it was and left it at that. On Tuesday, he made burritos. I ate one, told him it was really good. It was, but that I'm dieting, and it's not on my diet. It's been days, and he won't look at me because he says I told him that he was wrong in cooking for me. I never did, and have told him at least 2 dozen times, no exaggeration, since then that I don't think he's wrong, and rejected his act of service for me. And he thinks I'm guilting him because I reminded him that I've been telling him for 4 months that I'm dieting. Edit. I'm starting to lose hope here. He's now upset because we aren't having sex. It's been 4 days. But we aren't having sex because he won't even look at me. Says he wants me to initiate it when he's mad to get him out of the funk. But the last time he was mad at me, I got on top of him and offered him a blowjob, and he refused because he was mad at me. So this relationship is a lose-lose, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the update. We broke up. He kept asking for sexual things that he knows I'm semi-uncomfortable with, but I agreed to try. Then he insisted he should be able to have sex with me even at 2 a.m. if he wakes up horny, even if I'm asleep. When I said no, he said it won't work out because he won't be made to feel guilty because he got horny in the middle of the night. And I told him that wanting my basic needs met, like sleeping, is not guilting him, and I'm done as well. So that's the backstory.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
gosh, girl. You already broke up with him. Don't get married to him when he's trying to put in the prenup that he can, like, oh my gosh.
How
Is
are
he going
they?
to put in the prenup that he can have sex with you in the middle of the night even if you don't want to? Like, that's just so weird.
How are they back together?
How is it so that you broke up with him literally less than 2 months ago and now you guys are engaged, making a prenup? Like, what happened?
I know.
Did he just show up on your doorstep and is like, I'm sorry, here's a ring, get married to me? And you're like, oh my gosh, yes.
I like this comment. Um, he sounds like he needs therapy, and then she responds, "I would agree, but he says therapy was invented to trick gullible women, so that will never happen." Oh my god.
What? To trick gullible women? That's kind of insane.
It's kind of ironic that he's gullible enough to think that.
Someone said, leave. My God, I read your other post about the prenup. This man is not stable.
Yeah.
So we all came here from that post.
I'm like getting to the point where this story and the other story combined is like getting too ridiculous. I'm like losing my head.
I mean, it's pretty obvious here. Don't get married to him. He sounds insane. He needs to go to therapy to figure out his issues with sex and why he thinks he's deserving to have it all the time. Either way, that prenup would not hold up in court. And so even if you do get married to him and you get divorced, because you probably will with a guy like this, well, he's already divorced.
Yeah.
So,
He's it's not his first time.
yeah. Yeah, just don't get married to him. And yeah, I think that's all we gotta say for this
I'm so
one.
done with this story. I'm like, it's this girl. Why are you still with him? What happened? Why'd you go? Why'd you slide back?
Yeah, what makes him so amazing that you went back to him? All right, let's go to the next one.
Am I the asshole for not wanting my ex-husband and his family to be with me while giving birth? I, 20 female, and my ex-husband, 21 male, were together for 4 years and got married last year. But I ended it off when I found out he was cheating on me with another girl. And when I tried confronting him about it or mentioned marriage counseling to try to salvage it, he abused me and said no. That's rough. I mentioned it toward his parents. We were living with them since my parents didn't like my ex-husband. But they basically said I was overreacting and just said if I loved him, it wouldn't matter. Within that time, I was also pregnant with my first baby as well. So when it came time to deliver, he showed up late because his mom wanted to see as well. He didn't want to stay at nights when I needed him most, and believed because of his mom that breast milk was not doing enough to sustain a child, and that I should be doing housework while also healing and taking care of the baby. When I mentioned how I felt disrespected by both him and his mom, he just insulted me. Fast forward to now, I'm finally happy and I'm living with my parents and pregnant with my unexpected second child. He has apparently changed from what he's told me, and now is asking if him and his family can be there for the delivery of the new baby. I told him I don't mind you being there while I deliver, but you aren't filling out any documents or staying other nights, and I don't feel comfortable with your family being there. This enraged him and got him asking why and what did me and his family ever do to deserve that, etc. I know his family means no harm, but I just don't want his family around the newborn until I'm comfortable again. And I don't want my ex husband filling paperwork without my knowledge of it, since that's what happened with my first. So, am I the asshole? And the edit says, the reason why I had another kid with him was because of my naiveness and him manipulating me. It's naivete. Naiveness is not a word. I know how baby making works. It was just at the time I stupidly told him not to release, thinking it would change anything. I know I sound like a fool and I could have prevented it, but I was just following him around, thinking he knew better.
This one is kind of crazy because he seems like
Yeah,
an absolute piece of fucking shit and does not even deserve to be there at all.
I know. I wouldn't. Yeah.
And honestly, it is just insane.
He's abusing her and insulting her. Like, there. What is happening? But it sounds horrible. I don't like this guy at all.
Yeah, this guy seems like a piece of shit. Um, no, you're not the asshole.
No.
And everybody on Reddit agreed by it saying not the asshole. Um, yeah, I just kind of feel bad for you. It seems like you're young and you're maybe unsure of yourself because I would think that this is pretty reasonable. And honestly,
Yeah.
he does not deserve to be there at all, not just he can't stay for too long. Like,
Hmm.
and his family definitely should not be around because his family did not support you when he was fucking abusing you.
Yeah. I'm disappointed that she went back and had a kid with this guy.
Well, I think, well, actually, I don't really know what the timeline is.
It's like under a year though they've been apart.
Mm, she's still pregnant. They got married last year. So it could just be that she got pregnant before they divorced.
Yeah, probably.
Is that
Yeah, a
the
lot of people are
timeline?
saying, why did you decide to have a second baby with him? It was a month before I decided to file for the divorce, and I still had some love for him, but I kept telling him that we weren't financially ready for a baby. Then, surprised, he gave me one, which was also one of the triggers that made me want to divorce him because he didn't respect my wishes. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, someone, well, that person said, or someone replied, yeah, he didn't give you a baby. You had unprotected sex with him and conceived. You were both responsible, but not the asshole for wanting his parents there.
For not wanting his parents there.
For not
Yeah,
wanting his parents there. You're allowed to decide who gets to be with you, even if that means your ex doesn't get to be there.
yeah, it's,
I mean,
yeah,
not gonna lie, like, sure, you had sex, and it was obviously unprotected, so, and then so you could have made him put on a condom. But, like, I feel like people don't understand that that's like asking him to put on a condom, and then but he poked a hole in it before. Like, for him to like not pull out when it was agreed upon that he would,
Yeah.
it's the same level as poking a hole in the condom. It is.
It's like, yeah. If you're doing it on purpose, then yeah.
Someone commented, he gave you one and didn't respect your wishes that you didn't want another baby. Were you not part of the baby making process?
Yeah.
OP replied, I mean, I was. I was naive at that time, and he was saying on how God said that I need to please my husband no matter what, and that how prevention of pregnancy was a sin. I'm a Christian and trying to grow my faith, so that's why I believed him, because I don't know much. So all I said to him was to not get me pregnant if we did the deed. So it seems like, she's being manipulated a bit, and he's just like,
Yeah.
he's using like God to get what he wants.
That's pretty gross. I think the whole like culpability of pregnancy is like 40-60.
I think it's also like, I think everybody knows that there's the possibility of it happening, but if it's agreed upon beforehand that you're trying to not get pregnant, and then the other person is like, either I don't care, or purposely is trying to get you pregnant when you explicitly said not to, I would consider that rape.
Yeah, and also this is one of her triggers too, which makes it worse.
Yeah, like obviously he's done this before. That means he's probably forced her into having sex before. And this is just all around really bad. And it's actually kind of surprising that people are not as open minded as you would think on Reddit. Like, people can get people pregnant, and the other person didn't want to get pregnant. Like, but it doesn't mean
Yeah.
that she didn't have any part in it. It just means that he lied to her and manipulated her.
Yeah. I think if you want to like, focus back on the main point of it, though, is like the whole leaving the whole baby thing aside and whose
Yeah.
fault it is. I think like definitely let's just keep it simple. Definitely not the asshole about who you want in your
Yeah.
awaiting in the room, right? And
Yeah.
that's just cut and dry.
I feel like,
They don't even need to do anything bad to you. They can just not be who you want there,
yeah,
and then that's it.
you don't have to have anybody in there if you don't want them to. Like, I don't know why. It's such a topic because people are like, oh, my mother-in-law wants to be there. Oh, my sister-in-law. Oh, my sister. Oh, my mom. Oh, my ex-husband. Oh, my husband. And I don't want him there. Or like, I don't know. It's like, just do what you want because you're the one giving birth. Like, I don't know why people think that that's okay.
Yeah, so you're the priority. The only person who might have a claim is the other person, the other like person who's genetically responsible.
Like the husband.
Yeah, that's the
Or
only
the
person who
boyfriend.
has a claim, but they're not the priority. Still, you are the priority.
I feel like um, even then, like, you could still say no, but it just, like, you're probably planning to get divorced then if you're saying no, because it's like, well, like, why wouldn't you be comfortable with that person being there? But, people have a lot of stories.
Yeah. Can we want to move on to the next one?
Yeah. Am I the asshole for forcing my son to sell the car he is inheriting? This didn't happen yet, but my whole family is fighting over this. I'll try to make this as short as possible. My father passed away in December. He owned a classic car. I believe it's a 50s Chevy Bel Air. My son, 17, is the only grandson he had. I have one sister who has 2 daughters, and I have 2 daughters along with my son. So there are 5 grandkids in total. My dad was never much of a girls' guy. He always got along with the boys more than the girls. Him and my son were very close. He has left the car to my son in his will. The rest of the grandkids got $4,000 each. The vehicle is valued at over $70,000. My sister is livid. I am very unhappy as well. It's just blatantly unfair to his 4 other grandkids. I don't understand the legality of the situation because it was left to him, but he is currently underage. The car is currently held at my mom's house. I don't know how to force him to sell it, but I think that is what should happen. and the money can be divided equally amongst the grandkids, the way it should be. My son is very upset about this. He says Grandpa left him the car, so it's his car. I have money saved for his college. I am almost considering telling him that his college money will be divided amongst his sisters and cousins if he refuses to sell the car. Am I the asshole? I don't think this would hold up in court, buddy.
So mean. Let the kid have the
I know, it's
car.
so mean. I understand being like, oh, it should be equal. It should be, you know, fair.
Hmm.
But at the same time, like he decided what he decided. Like he wanted to give it to the son. Sure, is it like a little bit weird because he's like a little sexist, I guess you could say, like because like
It's
I'm
irrelevant.
assuming that the son is like younger than his sister, so it's like the sister actually might be able to drive the car, whereas the son is not able to. But or I don't know. He just said underaged. Oh wait, did he say 17? Yeah. Oh, so he's 17. He can still drive
You
the
can
car.
drive
He
it,
just
yeah.
is underage. So okay, never mind. But not only did you say, oh, he's a guy's guy, basically, you said that he's close to your son. So it's not just that he's like, well, there's only one boy. Guess I give it to the boy. He's like, no, I'm close to him. So I want to give him my car. Like, that makes sense. And he's giving money to the rest of the, grandkids.
Yeah.
So it's like, also, it's his will.
Yeah. I
You
get
can't
the.
force him to do anything.
No,
And
yeah.
you are an absolute fucking asshole if you give away his college fund.
I
That is
know.
so messed up.
Like, clearly, money is not really seem like an issue for this whole family. The car is 70,000, and I understand that's a lot, and everybody else feels entitled. But it's a car. You're not going to split up the car. You're not going to sell the car because you want to keep it in the family.
Yeah.
They're also getting $4,000. It's not like they're not getting anything. I'm not expecting anything from my family, my parents, my
Also, he
grandparents.
gave it to your son rather than you, so that must mean that he's closer to your son than his own
Than
son.
he is to his own
So
daughter
there's
or
a.
son, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm assuming it's a
I don't
dad or
know.
something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe not, because that would make a little bit more sense with the rest of the person is saying.
If it was a
But
woman.
yeah, but oh my gosh, you are such an asshole.
Yeah, it's just really cruel.
Like the reason why you give certain things to certain people is because that means something to you, giving it to them, even though you are dead.
Yeah.
It means something to you to give certain people certain things, even if certain things are not as valuable.
Yeah.
If that was the whole point, then before somebody died, they would just sell everything, and then all they had was money.
Yeah.
And then, oh, there you go. Like,
Right. If I cars is something people really bond over, like building cars, fixing cars. If I wasn't into cars, I'm not really into cars. I might just be like, take the 4,000, and I wouldn't really complain.
also, sure, could your father have given, a percentage of the car to like each person? Like, oh, you guys divide, each person has 15% ownership of the car, but then that just gets so complicated. And like, I don't know. I mean, he can do whatever he wants, and then also the son got it now, so he can do whatever he wants. If he felt like he should split it amongst everybody, then sure, and he wanted to sell the car. But I'm sure he doesn't want to sell the car.
No.
If he wants to sell the car and he's like, yeah, free money, then it's a little like, he should not have left him the car. He's not keeping it. But that's probably why he didn't divide it amongst everybody, because he probably didn't
No.
want them to sell the car. He probably wanted somebody who's gonna like keep it and enjoy it. So
They
yeah.
don't want the car anyway. They just want the money. So that's how you know. And I love that the OP is like, I haven't figured out a way to force him. It's like, you're not gonna. It's not holding up in court.
Yeah, that's not
This
gonna
is
hold
just
up in
cruel.
court. That's messed up. And if you try to give it away, his college fund, that's fucked up. And guess what? You're ruining a relationship with your son forever. Because this happens so much when there's a will involved and people get so high and mighty over money, and it's like, stop being selfish.
No, for real.
Like,
Like,
sure,
yeah.
could he be deemed as selfish? Maybe, but it's not like nobody else is getting anything. And the whole point is to not sell the car.
Yeah. I think all the people saying that he's sexist or whatever, it's like, that's also not really relevant at all. Like, the character of the grandfather is not relevant. The fact that
I
he's
don't think that's
sharing,
really the conversation. I just brought that up.
yeah, yeah. But it's pretty clear that what she's saying because it's pretty clear it's a woman. It's pretty clear that her sister and all her cousins are all, it's clear that there's some resentment at the deceased grandfather because he isn't really much of a girl's guy. So there's resentment. And I'm pretty sure this is a woman. OP.
Asshole poo mode.
I don't know what that means.
Well, that's why or this person got deemed. Everyone says that they are the asshole. You're asking the wrong question here. You need to ask yourself, do you intend to honor your father's last wishes about his property or not? It seems an unfair situation all around, but forcing him to sell it would certainly damage your relationship with your son. Is it worth doing that? If forcing means saying, do this or I won't let you have the money I saved for you for college, then there are no legal issues for OP to worry about. If she somehow sells it herself, that may be a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're a fucking asshole and you're ruining the relationship for your son, with your son forever.
Yeah. If I'm 17 years old and I'm the son, I'm gonna take the car over the
Also, I
tuition.
feel like there could be some legal action there. Like, if he ends up selling it, or like, I feel like you could talk to a lawyer being like, they're pressuring me to sell it by like using something else against me. I don't know. I feel like there
Right.
could still be something there, but he's 17, so he probably wouldn't be able to do anything.
It's just a sad story that the OP is just so like heartless. I don't know. And like, yes, the comment where it says honoring the last wish of your father, it's like you don't even think about that because of how you feel slighted. So you're not even gonna be the bigger person. It's like,
Yeah. Well, I think that was an easy one, so we should probably go to the next one.
yeah, it's just yeah.
Am I the asshole for not giving my house to my sister in law? I, 23 female, have two siblings. Both older. My oldest, let's call him Jeff, 28 male, passed away 4 months ago. He has been in a relationship with Sarah for the past 4 years. They were planning on getting married this summer, but he got into a car crash and died. He and Sarah also have two kids. So 2 years ago, my grandma passed away and gave me her house. I don't have a family, but I am planning on getting a good career first. The other day, Sarah came to my house. We have never been very close, but I understand that she's in a vulnerable position, so I was trying to be as supportive as I could. But then she told me that she has been depressed and that she thinks her boss is going to fire her soon. I told her that I'm here for anything she needs, and that's when she asked me for my house. I immediately told her no way, and she started an argument about how I don't have a family and she does, and that it would be so much easier for her to grieve in a house that has no mortgage. I told her to get out and that I will not be giving her my house. I also agreed to a coffee later today, so that will be an update soon.
Mm. Entitled, man.
Hmm.
So where's the not holding up in court part?
I guess just that, like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because I'm more impoverished. That means I deserve other people's stuff. No, that would
Yeah,
not
it's
hold
more
up.
like, I'll just give me your house, like,
Yeah,
because I'm your, like, almost sister-in-law. Just give me your house. And
yeah.
it's like,
Well,
it's
it's
just,
valid,
I guess
sister.
it's just
Oh, they
more
weren't married.
like,
Sorry.
it is the entitlement where it's like, I feel like she feels entitled because it's like a family thing from her ex-fiance. Almost, even though that wasn't said, it feels like that. So it's kind of like it on theme, but I was trying my best here.
Now, it is a great story, and to just show the fact that you don't really owe these people anything.
And this story was written like at 1 p.m. today.
Wow,
So
this is fresh. Yeah,
I can try to see if the update is
I don't
available.
know.
I don't know.
That's crazy. I never had a story so fresh before. I think it's like just to show that just because somebody's grieving and it is horrible, like that's so horrible, but you don't owe people don't owe you anything still. Sorry.
Like,
This
why
is a
couldn't she have
ridiculous
said
ask.
like, it's really hard right now. Like, if you can't afford what your mortgage is or whatever, you can ask to stay with people. But why are you like, can I just have your house?
I've never heard anyone say that in
Like,
my
you
life.
don't have to pay for it, so can I just have it? And
Hmm.
like, I'm not even gonna buy it from you or mortgage it from you because it would be so much easier to grieve without a mortgage. It's like that part, your fiance died, and that is terrible and so sad, and you have two kids and all that stuff. But the part where it's like it would be so much easier to grieve without in a house without a mortgage. I'm like, you just sound evil. Like you sound like
Yeah.
manipulative, and you're just like, oh yes, I'm grieving, but I'm in the house with a mortgage. I can't grieve. Like I don't know.
Also,
It's just so
yeah.
weird. Like obviously it's written weird. Like if you actually think about it, it's like more like, oh, she can't like she wants more time to grieve, but she can't because she probably needs to go make money for her two kids and for the mortgage and all that stuff. But it's just like it's so weird.
I think we're glossing over the fact that guess what? OP is grieving too.
Yeah, and like her brother died.
Yeah. It's just so weird that people say this kind of stuff. Like, I need a house to grieve, and it's like, no, shit happens, and shit happens where you are in life, no matter where you are in life. And I'm so sorry that this happened to you. This is so sad, but you don't need to bring somebody else's life down
Yeah.
because they have stuff and you don't. That's really what it comes down to.
Everyone is saying not the asshole. The story is pretty fresh, but everyone's saying not the asshole. Someone said, easier to grieve in a house without a mortgage, my arse.
Oh, they're British. That's funny.
Do not give her a chance to move in. You will never get her out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Well, I guess right now it's like now you don't want to just let her like you don't want to just help her out now because she was just so entitled. And then as soon as she comes in, yeah, she probably will be like, well, now it's my house because I had two kids and that's three people instead of just one. And also like
Right.
you're only 23. Of course you don't have a family yet. Like, come on, like. You're gonna have a family eventually. You have a house without a mortgage. That's great. Like, and this is one of those things that's like, she inherited a house, and it's like from her grandma. So it's like I bet that there was a story there too, with
Right.
everybody being so mad about that. Update is not there yet, but yeah, it's just so insane and so entitled to be like, just give me your house.
I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, you need anything? Let me know. Like I'm here for you." And then the response is, "Give me your house."
Yeah, literally insane.
Oh
I feel like
Lord.
that one is just an easy one. Like you're obviously not the asshole, and the person is just like not mentally there, I guess, because they're grieving or something. Because that's a tall ask.
Yeah, it's enormous.
All right, I think we could just move to the next one.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for opening my soon-to-be daughter-in-law's wedding dress before she did? My soon-to-be daughter-in-law has been working with a designer for the past year to create an outfit for one of the wedding events. She asked me if she could have it shipped to my place to hold on to since her apartment complex loses packages often, and I agreed. The package arrived this week, and I opened it and took the dress out to send her pictures of it. The reason I did this is because she's been anxious about some of her other outfits for the other wedding events, and I wanted her to be able to see it so she knows it turned out well. Well, this turned into a huge problem, and she was so upset that I opened it without asking her. And she kept saying the dress was supposed to be a surprise for the big day, and that she wanted to be the one to open it. My son yelled at me, basically implying that I'm an asshole with no boundaries, but I was just trying to help. Am I the asshole?
Was this explained to OP about that it's supposed to be surprised? She didn't want to see it until the wedding day.
I guess she didn't know. So, okay. So when I read this, I was like, I see like she was probably just like, oh, she's been so anxious. Let me just open it
Yeah.
and show her. But at the same time, I was thinking like myself, like if I had a package and it was a dress and my mom or mother-in-law opened it and sent me, especially mother-in-law, opened it and sent me pictures of it, I'd be like, ugh. Like, what if it was like a different thing that got shipped there or something? Like, and also it's just like, it's a wedding thing. So, like, I think if I was this person and my daughter-in-law was like, pretty anxious of us seeing it, and da da da, I would message her, "Hey, it got here. Do you want me to open it to send you pictures of it so you can see what
Yeah.
it looks like?" Like just some sort of communication, and because I think the thought of like, "Oh, she's been anxious. She probably wants to see it," would cross my mind. But then I would think, "Oh, let me ask her," you know?
Yeah.
Like, I do feel like, okay, so everybody said asshole in this one.
Yeah.
And I do feel like she is the asshole, but I do feel like she wasn't trying to be the asshole,
No, I think it's
you know?
a slight asshole thing. I guess the etiquette for having a package sent to someone's house is they should not open it unless you give them the okay.
I mean, you shouldn't want to open someone else's package up anyways. The only problem would be if she didn't put her own name on it and the person was like, "Oh, I got a package," and then they open it and they're like, "Oh shoot, this is not mine."
Yeah.
But you know, like that only happens if she was expecting a package too.
Yeah.
So it's like she obviously opened it with good intentions, but she should have communicated, and it would not hold up in court because you were legally not allowed to open up somebody else's package
If
and
they came to the
mail.
wrong address, yeah.
You're not allowed to do that.
That makes
So
sense. That makes sense. I think the bride and groom getting mad that about saying it's supposed to be a surprise for the big day and she wanted to be the one to open it is like, I don't know. I guess they did kind of say that they're obsessed with the without asking. So
also, she knew it was for the wedding, and she knew it was like an important thing. And then it's just like you never know, like somebody opening something, and it's like if they're gonna take care of it either. And it was a surprise. That's the whole point. So she didn't want her to see it because she wanted it to be a surprise, and then she probably wanted it to be a surprise for her future husband,
yeah,
and then now he probably has seen it.
yeah.
So,
Unfortunately,
you know, you're the asshole.
yeah,
Someone said, "You're the asshole. The dress is not your property, and the only way it should have been opened is if she had specifically asked you to. You crossed a line, so I'm not surprised she's upset. And if you sent those pictures to anyone else, you may as well say goodbye to that relationship." Well, if she sent those pictures to anybody else, like if it was like sent in a group chat or something, then that makes you even more of an
yeah.
asshole. Because you should definitely know to not do that. You're the asshole. Why are you opening up other people's packages without permission? Especially when you know it's something big. That's
Yeah,
what I think too. Like, even if it was something not big, like it's just don't open other people's stuff.
yeah. It's not just about the privacy, but it's about the experience. So
Yeah, and they wanted it to be a surprise. So
yeah,
yeah, you're the asshole. It seemed like you had good intentions, but you're the asshole. But yeah, if you sent those pictures to anybody else,
I
you're
hope not.
screwed.
It's like good intentions, but unfortunately, it's not
That
good
would
enough.
mean you're just an idiot
Yeah.
if you did that.
Okay, is on the next one. Am I the asshole for hiding money from my wife? We both earn a similar amount of money, around 60,000 euros a year, and have always split our money in a way where we both have the exact same amount of money each month. For example, my wife has higher travel expenses because she's in the office more than I am, but we still essentially split it 50-50. I am pretty much in charge of the bills in the house, partly because I know where to look to get the cheapest bills, but mainly because of a complete lack of interest from my wife to get involved. I have a spreadsheet that details all of our bills and has a formula that automatically adjusts how much money my wife has to send over to me if one of us has a salary increase or a bill goes up or down. Here's the issue. A few years ago, my wife started following a new religion and giving 10% of her salary as a tithe. Secondly, she is overly generous when it comes to giving money to friends and family. I described her as stubbornly righteous. For example, her friend was unemployed and she paid about 500 euros a month to her. Altogether, she gives away over 600 euros a month. It's all part of her allowance, so she can do with what she wants with it. Issue becomes when it's time to do anything with our family. We go out to a restaurant, soft play, don't know what that means, etc. It all being paid for by me as she's always broke. Our house is falling apart, we need new windows, roof repairs, boiler, etc. It's me who ends up paying for it. Recently, she has been asking about certain bills, nursery fees, for example, going down and more of that being added to our allowance instead of going towards debt or home improvements. I've done this, but only to a very small extent. So I've paid off my student loan, which means an extra 250 euros each month from me. Usually this will be split to 125 euros extra for the both of us, but I haven't told her about it and just increased the amount we save each month by 250 euros. I recently paid off a credit card debt that we've had for some years. She had no idea how much we paid each month towards it, so I've put an extra 100 euros in savings and split the remaining 50 euros for our allowance, telling her that it's the uplift. That's pretty much it. Is this behavior justified? It's a little sneaky, but the fact that the excess money is going into our savings account or towards much needed home renovations, needed, not just cosmetics. It's not like I'm stealing money or having a secret gambling addiction. So, what do you think, Patty? I'm curious what you have to say because I feel like I might be different.
I don't know. Wait, I'm actually curious what you're gonna
All
say.
right. I think overall, not the asshole because there's usually one person in a relationship who is going to be controlling the money, and there's one person who is not good at money. So I think that the one person is going to be more responsible with the money, and if they have a little extra and they put it towards savings or towards renovations that need to get
Hmm.
done, I think that's pretty normal.
Okay.
And I'm not done because I wanted to say that the starting a new religion, 10% in tithes, and generous with the friends. It's these are things that need to be talked about together. And I
Hmm.
understand that's coming out of her allowance, but it's like, well, then she wants to go out all the time, and she can have it both ways. And it's like I
Hmm.
think if anyone's being unfair, it's really the woman because she wants the money to come from somewhere, and it's like she needs to be more a little more realistic. And I think these little adjustments is like it's never good to lie in a relationship, but is this lying or is it this is how the money's gonna go? This is what needs to get done. I'm just taking care of what needs to get taken care of. It's not necessary for me to tell her.
Yeah, so I kind of feels I kind of feel the same
Mm,
ish because you shouldn't keep it from her because if she finds out that you're keeping it from her, like that's not gonna be good.
yeah,
Like how angry I would be if this was my situation. But at the same time, I control the money in the relationship
I don't.
and I control where things go
Yeah,
and kind of but everything needs to be discussed. Like I'm not okay. Sure, did I decide to put some money in our Roth IRAs without communicating to you first? Sure, because I put in the work to know that it was okay to do it then and whatever. But I'm not about to buy like, a $500 piece of furniture and be like, "Yep, it's just happening," and not tell you or something like that or not discuss it first. And then I would expect the same from you. Like you're not going to buy something really anything like only stuff that I buy without communicating too much first, but usually I communicate. But
it's usually essentials.
it's usually just like, yeah, like the essentials, like, oh, I just bought more iron supplement. Like, yeah, okay, I'm not like
Yeah,
communicating to you about that first. Like,
and yeah,
normal stuff, or whatever. But like, I'm not gonna buy anything without putting the thought into it first. So the
Yeah.
fact that she's the one that's like obviously not that great with money, it makes sense that you are the one kind of calling the shots. But I feel like that should be discussed beforehand. Like, you both agreed, like, she agreed, yeah, I know, I'm not great with money. Like, I cannot be really trusted because I just want to give it away to everybody. And, like, she needs to be a little bit more logical about it. Like, it seems like she's a bit more emotional with her money, like, where it's like, oh, I have money, give it away, give it away, give it away. And it's like, okay, that's great when you have the money to give it away, but that, like, he's not agreeing to it. Like, it's kind of like you both don't have control over the money because you're not controlling what she's doing with her allowance or the 50% or whatever. But then she is not controlling what you're doing, but then you're also holding this tiny amount. It is such a small amount of money that she doesn't know about. And I think if it was more money, I would be more mad about it. But there are stories of people like putting away money that like the other partner didn't know about so that it was there for like a rainy day and like stuff like that. So it's like I'm on his side because it seems like she's not to be trusted with it. But at the same time, I wish you guys had a relationship where you were more able to be more comfortable talking about your money situation and communicate on everything. Like if she's not going to communicate to you, hey, I'm going to give $500 to my friend because she really needs it every single month, and that wasn't a decision that both of you decided on, yeah, you saving an extra $200 that she doesn't know about, yeah, that's less than half the amount that she is spending on somebody else without your approval.
Yeah.
At
It's
least
kind
that's
of
how you're
insane.
setting it up. You're saying that she decided to do it and that she didn't consult you first. If she said to you, hey, I know this is my allowance, but I just want to make sure it's okay with you if I give it to this person, then, oh, that's her communicating to you. So you need to step up and say if you don't like that, and you need to step up and communicate about this.
Yeah.
But if
He
you guys
clearly doesn't
already
like
don't
it.
have a relationship where you guys can communicate, and it seems like you make more than her, then or something like that, then it just makes sense. It makes
Yeah.
sense that you would just save it, and as long as you're saving it, it's good. If you were using it for something else, then I would totally not be on your side.
That's how it goes. I think number one, like you said, you clearly don't like the way she's spending her money, so you should probably talk to her about it. And I think also maybe you could say, "Hey, looks like you get your allowance, you get to spend it freely. I don't get to spend mine freely, so mine's gonna be bigger, or there's gonna be a third allowance for fun."
Yeah, there should be a joint account where stuff for like dates or the house or this or that should be going to. And then her allowance is probably going to go down because,
Yeah.
yeah, that's also ridiculous that you're like, it just does not make any sense to me. Like, the fact that you guys think of your money as separate just does not make sense to me. Because if I was making $25 an hour or something, or whatever, I guess I shouldn't put a number on it. But if I was making, let's say, however much more money than you, I would not be thinking, oh, I make more money. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I would think that, oh, we are making more money, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and I guess that we've always been, like, kind of similar on the amounts that we make. But, like, if you're sick one week, I'm not like, oh, well, there you go. I made more money, so
Yeah.
it's just I am better with money, so I control it. I like being able to see it. I like being able to make sure that
Goes in buckets.
we're
Yeah.
okay and whatever, and that we are saving for what we want to save for, and whatever. But
If you put more money in savings and we don't go out one of the days in the week, that's basically what's happening here. I'm not gonna bat an eye, and I'm
like,
not gonna ask you to inform me.
yeah.
So I'm overall not the
Also,
asshole.
yeah, like I put money into savings all the time without like asking you first, like or like, and I want to do it more. Like, I
Yeah.
want to put more money into our savings. So it's like, I'm not going to be like, it would be more like a conversation like, hey, I want to save more. Like, that's the conversation I have. Like, I'll say, oh, yeah, like, I want to save so that we can go travel later in this year. We've had that conversation.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm not going to tell you every 2 seconds if, oh, yay, I made a little extra money. You know, like, it's
Yeah.
just dumb.
I think
But I wish that you guys had a more open communication about the money and that you guys look at it as more as, like, one income. Like, both of your incomes are just became one. Like, the fact that it's still trying to be split and that, oh, I'm paying for to, fix the house. I'm paying for the dates. It should be because you're just paying for the dates, like,
yeah.
together because you're both there. And the fact that she is able to just do whatever she wants is just like, I don't know, especially if you have debt. Like, if you guys don't have any sort of debt, the only thing you're paying off is your mortgage or your rent. Your cars are paid off, your credit cards are paid off, all that stuff, and you guys make a decent amount of money, then, like, it makes sense to have the allowance set up. But, like,
Yeah.
if you have debt, no one should be just willy-nilly giving out money.
Yeah.
That is so ridiculous.
I 100%
And
agree.
10%, if any religion is like, you have to give 10%, then that's not a good religion. It's supposed to be, that's a guideline. That is like, oh, that's like how much you should be doing as long as you're able to.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be, you're not allowed to come here if you don't do 10%. And the fact that you guys had credit card debt and there's possible other debt is insane to me that you guys would do this. Like, no.
Also, the friend unemployed, they're getting 500 euros. That probably can't be that much different than $500.
Yeah, it's basically, I think, similar.
I think this guy. Another thing I was kept thinking about is I wouldn't care unless do you feel guilty about it? Is that why you're bringing it up?
I mean, I'm sure he feels a little bit guilty because he's like, oh, well, I shouldn't be lying to her. But at the same time, I'm like doing something good for us. So it's like,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah, you don't want to hide anything. But the thing is, you
Yeah.
guys don't have that open communication. So I would think that it would need to be a sit down conversation. And especially if you want to tell her, you should be like, hey, I felt uncomfortable telling you I had this extra money because I'm afraid that you're just going to give it away, even though we still have things that we need to save up for.
Yeah.
We still have things that we need to fix. We still have debt to pay off. And you're just willy nilly giving away money, and it's making me
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
I don't think he wants to pull on that thread.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to have, it's just going to keep going down and down and down. You're going to make a little bit more money, and you're not going to tell her. You got a little bit of promotion. Not going to tell her. You did it. And yeah, you're saving it all, and you're being good, and you're thinking ahead, but you're going to keep lying if you don't have that open communication about it.
Yeah, you should be. You should, if it's bothering you, especially, it's gonna keep eating away at you. I think. Also, though, like putting money in savings is not taking money. It's just
That's the
waiting to
thing.
allocate
The
it.
fact that there's not a communication about how much you guys want to be saving, the fact that she doesn't know anything about it, she doesn't even look at the accounts to see how much you guys are saving. She doesn't even look at how much you're making, how much she's making. She's not paying attention at all. So it sounds like you are kind of the one in charge of the money. Like, you said that you make sure that's 50-50, even though she spends more money traveling to work than you do, but you make sure it's 50-50, so that it sounds like you are in control. So if she believes that you're the one in control and she's perfectly fine with that, then I say it's perfectly fine for you to not communicate this. But at the same time, if the number gets bigger, then you should definitely communicate it. But all in all, you should really be open to communicating and tell her that you're not comfortable with her spending all this money, even though it is her money.
Yeah.
But, like, at the same time, it's not her money anymore. It's your money. Both of your monies. Like, your income and her income are now each other's income.
Yeah. You gotta think about that.
Like, it would be insane to be like, oh, well, you are the one who wants a new mattress. So you are the one that's going to have to pay for it from your money and you're going to have to save up. Like,
Yeah.
that's insane. You guys are both going to be on that mattress. You guys are both, like, together. Like, anything that you guys buy, like,
It's we.
and it's just, yeah, that mindset is insane to me.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's something dumb that only one of you wants. Like, I want matcha. You want coffee. Okay, then we're going to buy it. Is one more expensive than the other? Possibly. It doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
It's like, what do we need to keep us going? What do we need? And not what do I need? And did I make enough money for it? It's like, I don't know.
It's just, did we make enough money for it? Like, are we able to afford this? Not,
Yeah.
are you? Because you're giving $500 to that friend, and I'm annoyed about it, but I'm not going to communicate it. Like, oh my God.
That's what I see the big problems are, is that you have problems and you have guilt, but you're not going to say anything. That's more what it is. The smart allocation of money, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And taking care of things without her having to worry about it, I don't have a problem with that.
Someone said, this one is tricky, but I'm going to land on everyone sucks here. Not because you want to save, pay off debt, and handle the upkeep on your home. All of that is super reasonable, and in my opinion, financially responsible. The everyone sucks here is because this financial dynamic and communication style is unsustainable, and you both are avoiding facing the hard conversation. You two need to sit down and get on the same page with financial goals and priorities and come to some agreements. The communication in your marriage has broken down. She is supporting others at the detriment of your family, and you are hiding money. This can easily spiral if you don't get a handle on it. Quite literally exactly what I said.
That's exactly what you said, yeah. It's not, the problem is not the stuff that you're doing behind the scenes, like, for the good of the
And if it's
marriage and
decided
relationship.
that you are the one who controls the money, then
Yeah,
it's
that's what
fine.
we're doing.
Obviously, you still communicate during that, but like
Yeah.
you don't have to like say everything as long as you're doing something good. But yeah, I agree with that. This person said, not the asshole. Do what you have to do. My husband sounds like your wife, and the only way to get ahead with someone like that is to not let them know the whole
Oh my
pictures.
God.
Good luck.
That's not good advice.
Someone said, not the asshole, but I suggest to have a conversation with your wife. This shouldn't go on forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most people were like, not the asshole. The one person said everyone sucks here. But, I mean, like, it's funny because that's kind of like us, where it's like, yeah, you don't really know everything that happens, but everything happens for the goal of both of us.
Yeah.
And
I think
I
there's.
wouldn't make, like, let's say for some reason I made like an extra few $100s. I wouldn't not tell you that. I would tell you.
That's up to the amount where I would want to know about it.
It's so sad that like not have that kind of communication with money, that you're just because I know that there are people out there that as soon as you have extra money, oh, let's spend it, oh, let's give it to this person, or let me just give it to church, or give it away, or buy this or buy that, and it's like, okay, like, or we could save it.
Yeah. Well, I'm the kind of person where it's like, if I have money, I have money, and that state is just an on or off switch.
Yeah, see, this is how I
You
control the
know,
money.
I'm just like having money. And if I spend it, it doesn't click in my head that it's less money. I'm just like still having
Yeah,
money.
that's like the same thing with you with time.
Yeah.
Where it's like as soon as you look at the time, you think it's still that time.
I think I need therapy.
But you know what's funny is that Francesca has the same thing with time, where she thinks that it's like the same time. Sometimes I can guess wrong, but I'm always thinking, oh, it's moving. Like the last time I checked the clock, it was 4 o'clock. Okay, it's now past 4 o'clock. Like I can,
No.
you know,
For me, I'm
determine
like,
that.
it's 3:59 still.
Oh my gosh, it's so weird. I think that's just like, I don't know if that's a therapy thing or
I
if
think
it's
I
just a
need
person
therapy,
thing.
though.
Well, we had some interesting stories. I think that was a pretty good theme.
Yeah, no, that was hilarious. When you announced we were doing that, I was so happy. I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times in these podcasts, you want to say that, like they bring up the whole wrong point of all of it. They'll say, "Oh, is this right or is this good or am I the asshole?" It's like that's completely illegal. Or how do they you think they have the right to do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, how
Like
do you
taking the
think you're
house or
right?
taking the car. It's like what the fuck.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
glad we got to hit the nail on the head there of like,
I know, and I also like say that a lot. Like I'll be like, "That's illegal," or "That
yeah,
is not okay," or "That would not hold up in court." Because
yeah,
even then, like even with people like, "Oh well, we're not allowed to do this," and it's like they can't make you do that. Like
make
I'm
you do
very
that.
like, "Nope, that's not gonna hold up in court." So this
And
kind of worked
also
out.
exactly. Also at like work and jobs and wherever, it's like a lot of times people will say things to you and it's like you can't force me to do that.
Yeah,
And it's like people need to call that out more.
yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe and like
Yes.
this video. If you're listening to this on Spotify, wow, you're lucky because I finally figured out how to put on Spotify. And
Thank you for
please,
putting up with my rustling microphone.
please rate this podcast and say something nice and comment on this YouTube video, and we will catch you next time.
This has been Love Life Support. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.